They were the most powerful people in South America, and richer even than the Aztecs. They were the Inca. In 1531, a Spaniard named Francisco Pizarro set out to conquer the mighty Inca, one of the greatest civilizations on earth. Driven by his greed for gold, this uneducated Spanish soldier led an army of just 168 men against an empire of 20 million. The year was 1527. A Spanish ship off the coast of Peru intercepted a raft filled with fine textiles, silver, and gold. To Francisco Pizarro, the captain of the ship, this floating treasure chest was a sign. The mythical city of gold called El Dorado must exist. Setting down on the coast of Peru, Pizarro had no idea what he was about to go up against. The Inca Empire stretched 3,000 miles through the length of the Andes mountain range, covering parts of present-day Peru, Ecuador, Bolivia, Argentina, and Chile. The empire had been forged by a man called Earthshaker, who marched through the Andes in 1438, conquering all the Inca's rivals. In less than 100 years, culminating in the rule of Huayna Capac, Inca armies had conquered half of South America, absorbing 20 million people into their empire. Had Pizarro known the Inca armies numbered 100,000, he might have thought twice. The Incas were not just warriors. They had built a sophisticated network of roads more than 14,000 miles long. They had fortified cities in every corner of the empire, and a vibrant economy based on agriculture. They were a devout people, practicing a religion based on sun worship. The rich Inca economy operated without money or writing. They communicated by a system of knotted cords called quipos, carried by swift messengers who linked every region to the imperial capital, Cuzco. About the time of Pizarro's chance discovery of the gold-laden raft, the Inca messengers were relaying tragic news. The emperor Huayna Capac was dead. Two rivals claimed the Inca throne. Pizarro would arrive just in time to exploit the power struggle. In addition to the civil war going on, smallpox, brought to Mexico by Spaniards, had swept across the continent. Half the empire's population had been wiped out by the contagious disease. Fighting for control of the weakened empire were the previous emperor's son, Huáscar, and his half-brother, Atahualpa. Atahualpa triumphed, but his victory would be short-lived. Climbing from the coast high into the Andes, Francisco Pizarro and his 168 men marched into the heart of the war and disease-torn Inca Empire in 1532. The Incas had never seen horses before, and many were very afraid, but Atahualpa was unimpressed. The emperor and 8,000 of his men went to meet Pizarro, unarmed. What they didn't know was that Pizarro was plotting a bold military gamble. When Atahualpa and his men arrived, the Spaniards ambushed them. It was a brutal massacre. 8,000 unarmed Inca were killed by 168 Spaniards. The Emperor Atahualpa was taken prisoner. Over the next few weeks, the situation grew tense. An army of 80,000 Inca soldiers waited for the order to attack. But Atahualpa never gave it, for fear he would be killed. The emperor tried to buy his way out of trouble. He promised Pizarro 3 rooms full of gold and silver in exchange for his freedom. When the precious metal began pouring in, the treasure only made the Spaniards want more. Pizarro's men raided Inca cities and their temples, stealing religious icons made of gold and silver. All told, the Spaniards melted down 30 tons of Inca artifacts. Having served his purpose, Atahualpa was executed by the Spaniards in July of 1533. Pizarro feared the emperor's army would now attack. But when news of Atahualpa's death spread across the empire, the Inca's enemies were thrilled. Tribes from the south, hoping to gain control of the whole empire, pledged their support to Pizarro. Pizarro crowned Tupac Hualpa emperor to pacify the Incas, though Pizarro was really in charge. Then, in November of 1533, Pizarro marched 750 miles south and occupied the imperial capital, Cuzco. His fortune made, Pizarro would continue to build new Spanish cities throughout the former Inca Empire, including the new Spanish capital, Lima. But luck would finally run out for the man who overthrew an empire with a handful of men. Pizarro was killed in Lima just a few short years after founding his glorious new capital.